There comes a moment in every life when a quiet voice calls you forward, not in a shout, not in a thunderclap, but in a whisper that says you were made for more. But most people never hear it. Why? Because they're too busy listening to the noise, the excuses, the fear, the comfortable lies we tell ourselves when the climb gets steep. They stop when they're tired. They stop when they're bored. But success, it doesn't stop. It doesn't care about your fatigue, your frustration, your feelings. Success responds to one thing and one thing only: action. And in that moment, when the world tells you to rest, to quit, to settle, that's when you must choose to press forward. That's where your future begins. Let me tell you a truth most won't dare admit. The road to greatness isn't paved in ease. It is carved in effort. You are standing at a fork in the road. Behind you, the familiar, comfort, routine, safety. Before you, the unfamiliar, challenge, growth, transformation. But make no mistake, the future you dream of, it lives ahead, not behind. Yes, it's tempting to retreat, tempting to settle into mediocrity, to nod along with the voices that say, be realistic. But those voices have never built empires. They've never written symphonies, flown across oceans, or sparked revolutions. Those voices live in the back rows of history, but forgotten, faint, irrelevant. You must be different. You must become the kind of person who moves, not because it is easy, but because it is right. The kind of person who acts when others hesitate. The kind of person who keeps going, especially when it's hard. Do you think the legends of our time were born fearless? No. They were born just like you, uncertain, untested, unsure. But what set them apart was a decision to keep going when most would stop. Edison failed 10,000 times, 10,000, but he didn't see failure. He saw refinement. Lincoln lost more elections than most people enter, and yet he led a nation through its darkest hour. These were not perfect men. They were persistent men. And now, it's your turn. Let us begin with a foundational truth. Purpose is the fire that fuels the journey. Without it, even a hill becomes a mountain, but with it, you could walk through fire and never get burned. So I ask you, why are you here? What wakes you up before the sun? What breaks your heart to see left undone in this world? Find it, write it, own it. Because when you are clear on your purpose, you cannot be shaken. Challenges no longer feel like obstacles. They become stepping stones. Pain no longer feels like punishment. It becomes preparation. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't march because it was popular. He marched because he knew what he stood for, and because he knew the world followed. When purpose is clear, resistance becomes irrelevant. Write your purpose on your mirror. Etch it in your journal. Say it out loud. Let it guide you like the North Star, because when everything else wavers, your purpose will hold. Now, once you have your purpose, anchor it with goals. Not dreams, goals. Dreams float, goals move. Without structure, even the strongest purpose loses momentum. But when you break that dream into clear, actionable milestones, something powerful happens. You begin to transform from wanderer to warrior, from thinker to builder. Take your vision and give it a spine. Give it dates. Give it numbers. Turn someday into this day. Don't just hope. Plan. Write those goals. Don't just think them. Make them visible. Make them sharp. I will save $10,000 by December 31st. I will run a marathon in 6 months. I will publish my book by next summer. Specificity creates accountability. And accountability, that's where dreams grow legs. But make no mistake, even with clarity, you will face criticism. The world will not applaud your efforts in the beginning. It will question, mock, and misunderstand. And you must press on anyway. Galileo was condemned for speaking the truth. Einstein was ridiculed before he was revered. The greatest minds were first doubted, then celebrated. So when the doubters come, and they will let their noise be the background music to your focus. Not every opinion deserves your attention. You must learn to separate feedback from fear. Take the tool, discard the toxin. Remember, critics are often just spectators who've never had the courage to play. Now, in this journey, there will be twists, detours, surprises. The key is adaptability. It is not the rigid oak that survives the storm, but the bending reed. Those who last in the game of life are not the strongest. They are the most flexible. Plans will break. People will change. The market, the world, the rules, they all shift. But if you can pivot, if you can evolve, then you will never be caught off guard. Eisenhower didn't just conquer battlefields. He mastered flexibility. When faced with national and global change, he adjusted. So must you. Adaptability isn't weakness. It is wisdom in motion. And as you evolve, there is one thing you must guard with your life, your belief in yourself. Because here's the truth. If you do not believe in you, no one else will. Muhammad Ali said, "I am the greatest," before the world agreed. Self-belief is not arrogance. It is alignment with your potential. You do not need permission to be great. You need commitment to the process. Speak life into your soul every single day. Remind yourself of who you are, not who the world has told you to be. Affirm your progress. Document your wins. Train your mind like a champion trains their body, with discipline, with care, with relentless consistency. And when you fall, and you will, rise with grace, because it is not falling that defines us, but rising. Resilience is the heart of greatness. Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That, my friend, is resilience. That is faith in motion. Every setback, every delay, every no, it's carving you, sculpting you. Don't resist the struggle, embrace it. The world doesn't owe you ease, but it will reward your perseverance. Now, above all, remember this: mindset is everything. Your thoughts shape your actions shape your habits shape your destiny. So guard your mind, feed it like you would your body, with discipline and intention. Weed out the limiting beliefs, plant courage, water it with gratitude, expose it to light, not darkness. You are the gardener of your mind. You decide what grows. Think big, act boldly, and walk faithfully, not because the road is easy, but because the mission is worth it. And finally, act. All the vision, all the purpose, all the belief means nothing without execution. The most successful people in the world are not the ones with the best ideas, but the ones who acted on them. You don't need to see the entire staircase. Just take the first step. Start messy. Start afraid. But start. Because one step leads to two. One action builds momentum, and soon your life begins to shift. There is no perfect moment. Only this moment, this one, right now. Make the call, send the email, write the page, build the dream. And when you feel like quitting, remember why you started. This is your life. This is your time. This is your legacy to write. So rise, push forward, and never, ever stop. And now, as we draw this message to a close, I ask you to pause and consider where you stand at this very moment. Not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Right now, there is a fire within you. Maybe it's been smoldering quietly, maybe it's been burning loud, but it's there. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it whisper the truth you've always known deep down. You were born to do something extraordinary with this life. Not just to survive, not just to scrape by, but to rise, to lead, to create, to build something lasting, something beautiful, something that outlives you. The people we remember are the visionaries, the pioneers, the legends. They were not made of different material than you. They simply made a different choice. They chose to keep going when the world pushed back. They chose discipline when it was easier to give in. They chose belief when doubt knocked daily. You have that same power. You don't need a perfect start. You don't need everyone's approval. You don't need the stars to align. You need only one thing: to decide. To decide that this version of you, the one who's been waiting, hesitating, procrastinating, will no longer be in charge. From this moment forward, you rise as the version of you who dares, who acts, who finishes. Because the clock is ticking and your time is not infinite, let this be the season of your becoming. Let this be the chapter where the story shifts, where the underdog wakes up, where the doubted begins to dominate. No more delay, no more excuses, no more asking for permission to be great. This is your life, your shot, your story. Do not let it be written by fear. Let it be forged in courage. Let it echo with action. Stand tall, shoulders back, eyes fixed on the horizon. The same world that once seemed cold and closed off will begin to open as you move with clarity, with commitment, with character. You are no longer someone who wants to change. You are someone who is changing. You are no longer someone who waits. You are someone who creates. You are no longer someone who doubts. You are someone who decides. And so, from this day forward, wake up with resolve, move with urgency, speak with power, live with purpose, because the future is not waiting. It is being built, and it's waiting on you to show up. This is not the end of the message. This is the beginning of your legacy. Now go and build it.